here to talk about healing the heart of a Black man after losing one of the most precious women in his life, which is his mother.
And I can remember the night I was doing a gig and I'm singing the last song and I'm seeing my sister's text at live time. Like, oh my God, mama just went, in cardiac arrest. They trying to revive her.
How did you finish the song?
That's the day my life changed. Forever. I never experienced nothing like that. I'm not that same guy. I'm not afraid anymore.
They cut the umbilical cord in the natural. It's never cut in the spiritual.
I know as far as losing a parent, I do feel like you're alone, even if you got siblings or not, probably naked in the world.
Love on people while they're here. Don't take it for granted, because you never know when it's our last time. Who am I as the woman? I am radical, relentless, and real because I am on a mission to heal the souls of God's people. I am a spiritual leader, a life coach, and an author. But most of all, I am a warrior fighting for my legacy. I face so many challenges, shares of betrayal, rejection, abandonment, all that left me wounded mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Yes, life left me broke, busted, and disgusted. But despite all those odds, divorces, emotional damage, as well as despair, I did the work to heal my soul so that I may birth forth miracles and live prosperously. I am not new here. I grew here, and now is your time to grow. I am Dr. Dunamis Dee, and I am here to guide you on your journey of healing and transformation. Well, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Healing for My Soul podcast. You all, we are actually doing it. We are bringing out our Black men. They like hidden roaches. They out there, but you don't see them until the lights come on. So the lights are on, and we got another dynamic topic for you because seriously, where would we be if it wasn't for our men? Who would we be if it wasn't for our men? Because every man has seed that we are representing. And where would they be if they didn't come through the womb of a powerful woman who they deem as their mother? So our hearts is just flowing with so much stuff. But at the end of the day, here I am, Dr. Dunamis Dee, and I'm here to talk about healing the heart of a Black man after losing one of the most precious women in his life, which is his mother. And so I am honored to be here with none other than R.J. Mitchell. Okay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You doing well?
Yes, I'm doing well.
I really thank you, seriously, for this is a place of vulnerability.
Okay.
And a lot of men don't want to open their hearts up in that manner because we will conceal it. You all will conceal it. But really, what you all conceal affects us. It affects us, especially when it comes to your mother. And I'm speaking not only from a woman's perspective, but from a clinical therapist perspective and a coach's perspective, because we're having this entire season just wanting to hear you all's hearts. And you lost your mother how many years ago?
6.
6 years ago.
6 years.
Okay. Talk about it. However you want to start. Let's go, because you're here for a purpose.
It's kind of hard to kind of figure out where to start. Okay, well, I could just start at the moment. I could start at the day that it happened. So it was a regular day. She was at the hospital. She was actually coming back to Chicago to visit us. And she had moved to Dallas with my brother. And at the time, she came back during the holiday season, but then she wasn't feeling well. So she had to go to the emergency room. But to us, it wasn't nothing like not normal. You know what I'm saying? Not to say like your mother going to the emergency room should be normal at any point. It's not. But I didn't think that this day will be the last day I see her. So, I remember she was having problems with her legs and stuff. She's diabetic. So, she was having fluid build up in her legs. And I went to the hospital earlier that day, and just to hang with her, talk to her. And I had a show in like Highland Park, somewhere far. But the hospital that I went to was in like Olympia Fields at the time.
That's quite a distance.
That's quite a
That's
distance.
quite a distance. For
So
those of you all who are not from Chi-Town, that's quite a distance.
So I was there hanging out with her a couple of hours. I was already dressed up, and at the time I stayed in Hyde Park. So I came from Hyde Park. I went out to Olympia Fields, was sitting with her for a couple of hours, talking everything with her. Had my clothes ready for my gig or whatever. Then I went out to Highland Park. So I went out there, and I can remember the night I was doing a gig, and we normally do like these corporate gigs. I do weddings and stuff like this. At the time, it was a corporate gig, and it was like a 3-hour show. So we about at the end of the show. I have an Apple Watch at the time. And those who don't know, the Apple Watches, you get texts and you can actually see people texting you and can see the message, whatever. So I'm singing, and I'm singing the last song, and I'm thinking I'm singing, I want to say I'm singing Purple Rain or something. And I'm seeing my sister's text at live time, like, oh my God, mama just went, in cardiac arrest. They trying to revive her right here.
And you're
I'm
on
in the middle of
stage.
the song, and I'm like, my heart like completely dropped. I finished the song,
How did you finish the song? Right. I mean, how did you make it through that? Because you was in touch with your heart. But as we all do, we got to finish what we got to do. How did you make it through that part?
I kind of freaked out. I was trying to keep myself calm. I just like to pride myself in the crazy situations. I like to stay calm, because I realize that when you lose control, it's not going to help.
It's not going to help.
You know what I'm saying? So I try to, and I'm not saying I'm not always successful.
Correct.
But I try to stay calm. And I look at the message, so I'm like, okay, I know they're working on her. So my thing of it is, it's okay. They're going to revive her. I'm trying to get straight to her. So immediately we finished the show. I got out of there. Like, I ain't got nothing to say to nobody.
Right.
I got out of there, got in the car. I'm going.
Purple Rain, drop the mic. I'm gone.
Literally. Got in the car, and I'm probably going like 90 miles an hour trying to get there. I'm trying to call my fiance at the time, and it was like she was like asleep or something, and it was like I can't stop. I had to go past my house, literally, to go to the hospital. But that night,
But before you continue on, in that car, what was going on in your mind? What were you feeling at that moment? I know you was knowing they're going to raise her up, but you had to get to your mother. But what was happening with the man's heart at that point?
It was like a roller coaster of emotions. It was literally me by myself. I really, I called a couple of people and let them know, you know what I'm saying? And then people were getting the news and calling me, and it was just a lot of stuff. And some songs I wasn't answering, and some things I was, it was just, it was a roller coaster. I really didn't know what to think. I just knew I had to get there. And I got there, and I see my brother face, and they see me. And I'm getting off the elevator at the time, and, he looked at me. He was like, man, come on, just come on. And I just like, my legs couldn't move. But that's the day my life changed. Forever. I never experienced nothing like that. The only woman that I knew 100% without a doubt loved me. Genuinely. Without no ulterior motives. Without expecting me to be somebody that I probably fall short of every day. But it changed my life. I'm not that same guy. I try to. I'm getting better at it. We get up and we put on a mask every day. You know, we figured out with practice, you get good at anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get good at figuring it out.
Yeah,
Huh?
you get good at figuring out, rolling with the punches, acting like it's good. You know, but it's just it's tough. You know.
Can we go a little deeper?
Yeah.
You said I'm not that same guy. Elaborate a little bit.
I'm not afraid anymore. I was afraid of a lot of stuff. I'm not afraid. No, I was terrified of death. You know, I mean, I accept it. I accept it. I didn't accept it before, you know, but now I do.
You're not afraid of life.
I'm not afraid of that either. And I try to take on different things like I got to live for us, or Mom, I'm doing this for us, or you always with me, you know. But it's you know, it's hard, you know. It's real hard, and I'm still figuring out. I'm not gonna act like I got the answers because I don't. You know, I don't deal with it well. I don't deal when people talk about they lose their mother and stuff. My heart aches on a different level, or their parents, I can't even. I don't even know what to say to people. It's just I understand it that much. It's like I don't want to even give the people the cliche. Oh God, you know, people don't want to hear that. And that's the truth, you know. And I understand people being well because they heart in the right place and they trying to,
Right,
you know, because
right.
I understand how to take things as far as you got to take what people are trying to say or the gesture. You can't look at what they say at the moment.
Correct.
Sometimes you got to understand the heart and be like, I appreciate you even trying to reach out or just trying to comfort me. Thank you. But some moments people don't want to hear that.
You know, it's so many things that's just going on in my heart right now. Just listening to your heart. But it's also bringing me back to how you got here right now. I was introduced to you by my nephew. And when we putting together this season of what we want to do of hearing the hearts of a black man, he was so in tune with your heart, yet he never experienced what you experienced. You understand what I'm saying? But he was like his heart. And for a man to be in tune with another man's heart, what is that like, even though they haven't experienced this, even they may not have lost their mother as of yet? Because I believe, you know, grief is not just because I lost someone physically. Does that make sense? I lost someone immediately because some of us never had the woman kind of mother you've had. Like you said, I lost the woman who I could be myself. She don't look at my flaws. She don't look at none of this stuff. I don't have to be together. I don't have to be the protector, provider, the macho. She knows her son's heart. Speak to what I'm saying right now from your heart. I know I said a lot, though.
As far as my heart or my mom's heart or...
You're, first of all, the man who recommended you because he can hear your heart, feel your heart.
Speak of his heart.
Just speak of how does that black man relate to another black man, even though he may not experience the loss of his mother as of yet, but he can still be in tune with your heart. He still feel it because the mother is the first woman who plants, who seeds, who nurtures.
Yeah. I definitely. Well, me and him, we are brothers, so we have a relationship that's actually my brother. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That, you know, we're in tune that way. It's just because of we allowed each other to be genuine. We allowed each other to flaws and all. He watched me grow as a young man. You know what I'm saying? He's just being a little bit old. He's young himself, but he was a big brother to me, you know, when I was a kid. So it's just the connection that we have. Him being there, knowing that, understanding, seeing, can probably physically see the toll that's taken on me or see that I'm not the same.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's just he's been connected with me in that capacity of knowing just knowing who I am as a person, and just knowing we're all three of us in our group was mama boys.
He sure is.
He's a mama boy, so he understand. We know that ain't nothing we even fighting about. That's just that's understood.
That's understood.
That's nothing we're ashamed about. Nothing. That's just who we are. So I mean, we all connected that, and he knew my mom first. He be at my house. You know what I'm saying, with my mom. So he definitely understood. And it's like, even with us being mama boys, all our mamas treat us like
sons.
All the sons, And like I said, he was there every step of the way. I know he probably didn't know what to say, what to do, but it was kind of like, I'm here. And sometimes that's all that's needed. It's not even the perfect phrase or the perfect words, because you don't know what to say. You can't possibly say the right thing because you don't know what to say, So, but just showing your presence and being there, and just making sure I'm moving every day, just moving forward every day. That's the most important thing, especially with people that's losing, somebody like a parent or kids. Just losing friends and siblings and all of that. All of that is crazy, right? Everybody in family, that's still just gonna break our hearts. But it's just not. I don't know if it sounds rude or anything, but it's just levels to it, though. Yeah. Right? It's actually levels to it. You thought you grandma, dad, or your cousin, dad, and all of this. Your best friend. I thought I felt the worst then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, nah, it gets crazier, because it's like it's a connection that you have with a parent or you have with your kids. It's like those two things is a pain that I don't wish on anybody. You know what I'm saying? And one is worse than the other. We don't want to go into that, but I have a belief based upon spiritual. Life is spiritual. You can't touch it. But I do have a belief that because the umbilical cord attaches you to the womb and to the life and the heartbeat of the mother, nobody else has that attachment like that. You could lose a sibling, but that's not that attachment. You can lose a spouse, but that's not that attachment. You understand what I'm saying? Life is filled with spiritual principles that we have a tendency to lose the real true meaning of what and how we came here. That's why they cut the umbilical cord. Does that make sense? But because it was cut in the natural, it's never cut in the spiritual. Hey, you all, this is Pastor Dee, and I know that you have seen me on the Healing for My Soul podcast, particularly as a host, but I want you to know there's so much more about me. Not only am I an author, but I am a publisher, and I published one of the most amazing books as I have captured the heart of so many of my spiritual daughters and compiled this to put it right here in the book, Healing the Heart of a Woman's Soul. I am presenting this to you because I want you to get it. It is nothing like being strengthened by hearing another woman's heart and how she's gone through these processes. What did it take? It will encourage you. So guess what? I want to ship it to you for free when you purchase it. So go to the website, healingformysoulpodcast.com. And please, for me to ship it to you free, put the coupon code podcast. I am looking forward to getting it to you. I'm looking forward to you reading it, and I'm looking forward to you hearing the heart of another woman's soul. I have to 100% agree with you on that.
And you have a right, whether your wife, whether your sister, whether your friend, whether whatever, we as a people, to heal our hearts, we have to really understand that this is a spiritual attachment that was lost, but it still lives because it's in your heart. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because when you hear when a child, period, but then a male child hears the heart of that woman, you heard her heart before any other woman can in your ear. You understand what I'm saying? She knew who her son was. I told, actually, who you're talking about, your brother, is my nephew that introduced us. And I remember my sister calling me, and she was having chest pains and she felt like, and I prayed for her. I said, let me tell you something, you're going to live. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to live, because you ain't finna leave me with that. I said, you ain't about to leave me with that. that brother will never be the same.
Oh no, we all know.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
And although hey, he called me Monty because I'm like a mom, but I'm an auntie. You know what I'm saying? But I understand the principle of the life because he was connected to her umbilical cord. So it's not a derogative of mama's boy. It's the fact that this is a connection that will always live. And now you're learning, how do I live this out spiritually, although her presence is not here? How do I continue to live to let this connection remain? And nobody will ever understand that because nobody was attached to her. Whether you got siblings, everybody can say the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But your life and her life was connected for a period of time until you came and they said, let's cut the cord. But they cut it naturally, but they could never cut it spiritually. And yet she's gone down in the ground. Now it leaves you with a life to discover. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How so?
I felt the difference. Like you said, it felt like the umbilical cord got cut twice, in that sense of her passing. I felt a piece of me was empty. Like I understood how that felt. Like it was just a big hole. And then you have these, as a man, it's like that's when you connected to your mother and then, and not to be funny, I had an old school mom. And this, it's nothing wrong with new school women,
Yeah, it is. Let me say it. But go ahead. I get your point. I get your point.
I'm not going to be the guy to do that.
I got that right. Let's go. Because we need some more of them old school. Seriously.
But
go ahead.
They don't make them women
they don't
like
make
that.
Them like.
They don't make them like that no more. So it's like my expectation, it messed with everything. And I had to readjust and I had to get my thoughts together and I had to understand that I can't expect that. You know what I'm saying? Even from my wife, that was unfair. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a big mountain.
That's
a whole different thing.
Pair of shoes to
fill. They don't make that. So I had to understand, like, man, that's not that. I can't expect my wife to feel the void of my mom because she would never do that. She's my wife, so she needs to stay in that void. This is my mom. That's not her. She can't feel that, and sometimes you just miss it and you need it, and it's just not there.
And I believe that this is what I believe, and I have learned it to be true because I come from that old school stock. I could even speak from where we come from my mother and from my grandmother and even, Swift being my nephew, no, they can't fill the shoes of a woman who was a mother because she was a mother in position. But I do believe that there's a mantle that now has to be a cloth that has to be taken on, that if you ain't got that praying woman like your praying mother was, if you don't have that praying, what makes us old school is that we don't get caught up in all the lavish stuff of whatever. We understand the heart. Does that make sense? Yes. That's why you could say, I can be, and I lost someone who didn't look at my flaws, who didn't see this, because it wasn't the fact that she didn't see it. She knew how to go in her closet. She knew how to go in that kitchen and whip up some food and feed a son. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, let's just go out to dinner. It's nothing wrong with those type of things. But what I'm saying is we need to go back to the foundation. We need to go back because, yes, a wife can pray like a mother. And my just take is if she ain't praying like my mother, that woman needs to be developed for your heart. For your heart. Ain't no knock against nobody because you all's hearts. Does that make sense? Right. In our stats, men's hearts failing. And we don't even understand why. Because even as I strive to teach my nephew, you got a praying mother. You had a praying grandmother. You got a praying aunt. You got one who know how to close the door when your heart is failing, not just give you no money, but close the door. Why do you choose a woman who don't know how to do that? That's just my take. Does that make sense? I feel your heart. I grow women up to be able to handle your heart. Does that make sense? Because you don't know what to say, RJ. There's not a void that can fulfill it but Christ himself. And he don't want to feel it. He just want to love on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He just want to love on it. He knows your heart more than anything. But then we also know how to tend to it. We have a tendency to tend to so much other parts of your body. I ain't going to get into that part. But that heart is still needing. Does that make sense?
You know what? I think it's also, and to speak on that, I think it's also we tend to take advantage of that or take for granted that I had a praying mama.
There you go.
And I took it for granted.
There you go.
That she was there. She's going to be here. You know what I'm saying? Or if she's not going to be here, I know, or be prepared. We grow through life and we know that, especially I as a man, I can say for me, I can't speak for other men, but I could say for me is that I looked at it as, well, I got that. So that's covered.
Right.
As long as you can do the other stuff, my mom ain't going to do all that.
Because she can't do it. Right.
But as long as you got that, and that's how guys think. And then it's like, when your mom ain't there, you realize like, no, you got to do that too. You got number one, you got to do that for yourself. Because I'm first wrong.
Yeah.
Because I took for granted that I had the praying mama.
That's right.
That
when you were out there going to your gigs and everything,
we was living off our mama's prayers. Yeah, and people still, and I'm still living
and you
off
still
of
live
it
off of it
right now.
Yeah, you are. You are.
But we take for granted that growing up.
Yeah.
And we think life is gonna be what it is. We already know how our life gonna be. I think everybody already knew when you was 20, you knew how I'm gonna be this. At 45, it's gonna happen. You just knew everything. And then you went through life and like, oh man, I don't know nothing.
Correct. And I believe your wife was your fiance at that time.
No, at the time my mom passed, she was my wife.
She was your wife.
She was my wife.
And so both of you all were put in a position, does that make sense?
Yes.
That you all have to move on in another realm.
Yes.
And the thing is, because my father passed suddenly, unexpectedly. That's a whole nother process, as though you was able to go visit the hospital for 10 weeks. You know what I'm saying? The doctor was talking about the health. You know what I mean? At least you had a little kind of preparation of what could happen.
Right.
You on the stage, you know what I'm saying? Singing Purple Rain like you Prince or somebody. And you see the watch, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother shock to your consciousness. That you haven't even had the opportunity at that time. I don't know what your life has been at this point, but at the opportunity to even remotely process.
No.
Not only you, but your wife.
Yeah.
How do I stand with this man? How do I go with the shift? How do I go in a place to be able to intercede for his heart? Hey, you all, you are here and you have been watching this podcast. And not only are you on a journey for your healing, but let me let you know, you have started a movement in your life because you joined me on this Healing for My Soul movement. So guess what I want you to do? I want you to stay connected. I want you to be a part of our Healing for My Soul movement. Join the Facebook group right there. I know you on Facebook. So go in there, join that private group. We have more discussions about healing. We recap these episodes. You're going to hear the heart of other women just like you who's saying, I am on this journey and I am on a move and I cannot turn back. I look to see you there. Hey, I'm Pastor Dee. When my heart connected to his heart, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Because one thing about a mother, we also shield your heart for the sons based upon the women you got to. So I know there ain't no way you didn't see some attributes of your mother in her. But you can't take it for granted. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then when she over here doing her thing and she doing her thing, and I think that's how a lot of you all miss it, but God want to still bring that healing to all of our hearts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But you're the one that had the umbilical cord that was attached to
it. And I do realize that in fairness, it's a different thing as being a spouse, dealing with your spouse grieving from the loss of a parent, because the very next year she lost her father. So God had me in that seat.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, so you see how she had to navigate that. You got to navigate this too. So you could see that whatever you thought she didn't do or could have did better, see how that feel when you on that seat.
But I believe that I believe that, well, let me just say this to substantiate what I'm going to say. You know, Isaiah 53, when it talks about he was bruised for our transgressions and by his stripes we're healed, we have a tendency to pick those things out. But it also said that he is acquainted with us in our grief. And if grief causes us to become acquainted, grief can also cause us to have healthy relationships. Because now I don't know how you feel, but I can sit in a seat to stand in the gap for you because of what you feel. And yet vice versa. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Because sons love their mamas and daughters sure love their daddies.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of how it is from who we are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you have man and woman, but at the end of the day, all of our hearts need to be healed. Grief is not about, ooh, let me just go somewhere and be depressed. You know what I'm saying? Grief is, how do I take up this new mantle and move on, but knowing that you're still here. You talked about her prayers, and I want to just elaborate on this because I think it's so important. That old school is not because it's old school. It didn't have a whole lot of stuff to be nothing but that school. Mm. And when a praying mother, who is a woman, even though she's gone, the word of God still talks about how her prayers is in a bowl. And although she cried out on earth, but do you know the fragrance of them is still living on your behalf? Ain't that powerful?
It is definitely powerful.
Ain't that powerful? That's why we got to pray. That's why we got to, where's your incense? You know what I'm saying? Mm. You know, have you ever lit incense in the house?
Yes.
And you see that the fragrances and the smoke, that's how prayers are. And that's why we as women got to continue to carry on that legacy, carry on that mantle. Because when the fragrance stop, y'all stop. When the fragrance stop, our families become distorted some more. Our children. So what I'm hearing you say, just me, is that you had a praying mother. And her prayers, even though her body is gone, is stored up in heaven. Still crying out on behalf of R.J. Mitchell. Ain't that powerful?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Still crying out. We can't stop praying, you all. We can't. But we got to know, because the love of a mother for her son is a different kind of cry. And you thought the cries was gone, but they just began on your behalf. Because it's real. Speak to that camera right now. And no, you can't speak for a woman or for a man, because until they feel that shoes, and it also depends on the relationship. It also depends on how the impact is. But just speak your heart. Whatever needs to come up and out. Because what comes from the heart reaches what? The heart.
I can honestly say, for those who are dealing with grief, it's okay to be not okay. Mm. Sometimes we act like that's a bad thing. All of us are not okay in some capacity, right? We need to promote more mental health, wellness as well as prayer in our daily walk, and not only that, but I know as far as losing a parent, I do feel like you're alone. Even if you got siblings or not, it just feel like you're alone and probably naked in the world. And you don't have to feel that way. You don't have to feel that way. It's an everyday process. And you're not alone. And if you need help, if you need somebody to talk to, please reach out. Don't feel that you're a burden on anybody, especially people that you know that lost parents. We're the best people to talk to about that. I'm a listening ear as well. I will talk to somebody because it's a different kind of conversation when you're talking to somebody who's been in that exact situation, and I have a heart for that, as well. And I appreciate you just taking the time talking to me about that, because sometimes you don't really know how much you need to do that as far as your cleanse or your growth, just talking about it and getting stuff out, just going through memory lane and just understanding what's going on and just hearing that really made me smile, just understanding that I'm still living
Yeah,
off my
you are.
mama prayers. That blessed my heart today. And I truly appreciate you for doing that. Thank you.
Well, we love you. I love
I
you
love you too.
because you're a black man. And I don't have to be in your shoes to understand a black man's heart needs to be healed. And I understand that you needs to be healed. I understand that you have men in your life if you're a woman right now. Even if you're a man, we all are in it together. I think that's the thing. But I do want you to know that every heart needs to be healed. One thing that I heard, and I'm going to say this to you because I want to speak it to them. Oftentimes we think that we're grieving when we're regretting. Regretting that I didn't tell somebody I love you. Regretting that I didn't spend some time with you. Regretting that I didn't take time because I'm so busy giving time to everybody else that I didn't give time to the umbilical cord. To look back and say, Ma, Dad, I love you. Even if it's your spouse, even if it's your child, I don't think this world and our society take enough time to spend quality time with each other. So what I'm hearing for you is that you are truly in a good place of grief because you have no regrets. You have no regrets. We want your heart to heal. Grief is good. Grief is okay. But regret, it will keep you stuck. I know we got a lot going on in this world. I know we got a lot of busyness. I know we got a lot of things you want to do. But before you know it, somebody could be gone just like that. After my father passed, just like that, I make it a point to let somebody know, my children, even my spouse, they could walk out the door and don't say nothing. And I think it's the most demoralizing thing because you never know when it's your last time. Love on people while they're here. Don't take it for granted because you never know when it's our last time. We love you. We thank you. Stay tuned because we're going to have another episode next week. But thank God for this black man. R.J. Mitchell, thank you.
Thank you.